Hey people, something that's been on my mind a lot for actually several years now is the idea that we need to shift some of the focus off of politicians as the responsible parties in creating our current reality, and we need to shift a lot of that attention towards us, the voters, the electorate. We need to do something about the fact that most of us vote based on really limited information. And our votes are based so much on elements of charisma, of being photogenic, of being good with one-liners and quips, being cute, whatever. So much of it is surface. And yet, it's difficult to go beyond surface. How many layers of spin and propaganda we have to dig through before we get something real. And so often when we get something real, it comes across as some gaffe, some inappropriate thing that someone has said, offensive or betraying a bias or whatever, and we jump on it and say, oh, you're a racist, you're whatever. I feel like something really needs to be done about voter education. We vote stupidly. I don't know if that's something peculiar to North American democracies or not. Maybe it's all around the world. I suspect it probably is, humans being what we are. But I don't think there are probably as many places where such a large percentage of the voting is just plain stupidity, based on lack of awareness of the facts, based on buying into bullshit that is fed to us as factual, being simply lazy and therefore uninclined to examine our beliefs. And some of it isn't laziness, some of it is feeling a certain way and wanting to support that feeling. So it could be rage at having been betrayed, tricked, robbed, cheated, at having someone else's interests supported as opposed to our own. So we have these strong emotional leanings. We want this to happen. We want so-and-so to win, so-and-so to lose. We want to hear this type of rhetoric. And we're not necessarily that interested, or we're probably not interested at all in stumbling across anything that's going to disabuse us of our erroneous analysis, that's going to take away or undermine our rationale for feeling as passionate, taking away our rationale for being as passionate and as sure of ourselves as we are. This is a problem I haven't the foggiest notion on how to effectively combat it. You can't force people to go back and to digest a certain packet of information. If you did, there'd be wars over, well, what information coming from where. It would cut out people. It would make some people ineligible for voting. So I don't think it can be anything like that. But I think that the tendency we all have to want to in fact be right to want to be provably correct, to not be embarrassed, should be enough to get people to willingly expose themselves to information that's going to be sometimes challenging, disappointing, conflicting, in order to know that we are operating from a legitimate base of information, of factual knowledge. How do we activate that desire in people? How do we create a body of information that people from various positions of the spectrum, that they will all accept? Institutions are being discredited, so I don't know. We probably couldn't just put the stamp of Harvard on it, or the United Nations, or Facebook, or Gab, or Fox News. So is it possible to create a source that will be universally trusted as non-biased? It seems we desperately need something like that. I mean, is the fate of all of us going to depend on the ability of a party to play chess with all the chess pieces of resources, population, demographics, climate, all the tools in the arsenal? Do we want to be subject just to that the most powerful is who is going to be controlling us and directing how we think and how we live? Don't we want that to be based on facts that demonstrate that this approach to government works better than the other, that this tactic, that this strategy is actually more effective in eliminating poverty than the other? We're going to have to go against interest if we ever want to get something like that in place. But we're in a combative relationship with those interests anyway, because we are being exploited by them, and they don't mostly seem inclined to giving up their sway. I deeply admire someone like Gates, and not for everything he stands for necessarily, because I don't know what he stands for on everything, but he's made this commitment to give away something like 98 or 99% of his wealth, and he's given away billions upon billions of dollars. Where am I going with this? We have to work together as people committed to truth and to facts, and we have to go forward from there towards making sure that the electorate, that whoever is responsible in giving and supporting power, that they're doing so based on realities, on facts, on a common shared well-being, on an understanding that it's not a zero-sum game where there have to be losers. That simply isn't the case. Those are my thoughts for tonight. Thanks for listening.